Welcome to Off the Rails YouTube channel, home of the 1959 all-wheel drive El Camino. Now this episode took me a few weeks because I was gone. I was actually out to sea. I was riding this old girl right here. This is a 6,000 horsepower offshore tugboat and I had to go work myself away. But the good news, I made a big chunk of change. I came back, you know what I did? I spent all the money on the El Camino. Yep, there it is, right there in those boxes. Now that we got all our go fast trinkets and racing doodads and my sea legs back, it's time to dig in and get back to it. This episode is going to be a mix of a few things. We're going to fabricate and install the brackets to get our Nascar style front anti-torsion bar in, and then we're going to move right to the rear and start building the tubular substructure for the rear subframe. And then we're going to do something near and dear to my heart. I have always wanted this, so we're going to dive in, and I got one of my good friends to come in and put a mural up in the shop. Let's get the boots laced up, let's get the coffee flowing. Let's get this El Camino one step closer to finally rolling. Oh, we're finally back. Can't show you the code, so we're gonna go. We are finally home. On the first note, what I'm going to do is show you guys this. This is my Nascar style front torsional bar. This is a 2-inch piece from Right Foot Performance. This thing has a load rating of over 1,000 pounds with a 6-inch arm. This El Camino is going to weigh anything from 3,100 pounds to 3,600 pounds. In theory, you should have the car laid out, fully done, weigh it, and then work backwards to make this bar. But I have a good guesstimate that this car is going to be around, it's going to be on the hefty side, 3,300 pounds. Using that number, I told Right Foot Performance, and we came up with this size. This is on the hefty side. This is a big bar. This is something that you would see out of a Nextel Cup car. On that note, this is a 2-inch bar with splined ends that comes with splined end caps. This thing has a rating of over 1,000 pounds with a 6-inch arm, which is right about where we're going to be. We're going to have tiny little arms on this thing. From there, they gave me this section tube, which I will cut and make actual brackets off of, and these inserts. Now, I'm going to machine these out of a different material later on, but for now, for mock-up, this is perfect. The only negative about having an oversized bar is the car will have an ability or tend more to understeer and just kind of plow through. What's going to happen later on, what I can actually do is mess with my actual coils themselves and take some spring rate out to soften the front up. On that note, we went with this bar for the ability to fabricate it easily, for me to make my own arms off the splined ends. Now, I really wish I could have did something like a blade style on this, but blades have a fixed structure, a fixed arm, and what we're doing is we're working with a really tiny, minimal space. And the problem is my lower control arm to the plane of where this torsion bar is going to be is almost perfectly straight. And through that line is where my actual outer tie rod is going to go. So you're talking about space, tie rod. I can't do a straight shot, so I couldn't just buy any kind of blade kit. I needed something like this so I could put it where I wanted, and then from there, put my end caps on and build custom arms out. So for me, in this car, this was the perfect kit. And it was more on the budget side, to be honest with you. This was a very affordable piece that you can mock up yourself if you're a DIY guy. So on that note, let's dive in. Let's section these tubes. I'm not going to use the whole thing. Center it, put it in the front so we can make it a structural piece. Once we get it where we want, we'll build our arms out to the lower control arms. And the other thing I want to do is this damn windshield has a crack in it, and it's been haunting me since I got the car. So let's go ahead and blast that windshield out, because at some point soon, the next few episodes, we're going to start laying the tube for the forward and aft cage. So let's get this thing out, clean up the mess, and then we'll dive right into our torsional bar fabrication. Honestly, I've been spending most of my time trying to figure out how to make the all-wheel drive system work, how I'm going to lay out the chassis. I haven't put any effort into body, so it's been nice to kind of actually dive in and start making the outside look nice. Only thing I'm worried about is trying to find these windows is a nightmare. I found like 3 or 4 of them, and nobody wants to get rid of them, so at some point I'm going to have to dig in and try to find one of these things. So I've had this idea for about a year now, but the problem is I can't draw and I can't paint. I was at a coffee shop randomly a few weeks ago, and I met this gentleman, and I saw him drawing and doing painting, and had his little sketchbook, and I looked at it, and I was like, holy moly, this guy's really good. Now he's here, and I gave him the whole wall to do a mural. I said, you have full creative freedom, just put some stars up. So it's going to be interesting. Let's see where this goes. All right, so first up on the chopping block is I'm going to figure out what we have for a top angle on our top tube, total length involved, and the height. From there, I'll come up with a triangular design. As you see here, I'm going to design a basic triangular bracket that ties in all the nodes, upper and lower part of the chassis. So this will also be a structural piece that will hold this front clip or this front nose together. Now that I cut the actual brackets, I'm going to go ahead and cut that sleeve that I showed you originally. I'm going to make two sections, passenger and driver side, and put a 45-degree cut in it, or just angle the cuts on the inside to make it look a little bit more appealing. These tubes actually hold the bushings which hold the torsion bar itself. All right, now that we have our brackets in, we have our tube in centered, we have both in, just slightly tacked. I'm gonna go ahead and start designing my arms. So I have my plate. This will be the biggest thing that I ever cut. It's actually, it's a little scary. This is expensive, it's an expensive little piece. I have to change a cap. I'm just waiting for that to come in. It should be in my doorstep within the next hour or so. I'm gonna start designing it. And caps are made to be welded on. So I'm gonna go ahead and design an arm. We'll bend it 45 degree, and I'll have it slightly at an angle like this. So I'm gonna measure this, get my angle, get my total length, and I can't go too far in because the CV axle will be going through here, so it's gotta be kind of perfect. And then from there, yeah, let's take some basic measurements. We'll start designing the arm, and then we'll go ahead and cut it once the plasma tip comes in. I'll cut it straight, but I'll have to bend it, so I'll have to torch it, or I'll cut it and fill it and weld it and make an end cap. But either or, half dozen of the other. It's gonna be just a slight bend, and then we'll go from there. So you'll start seeing it come together once I get these measurements and we actually get it designed. What you see here is some of the design process. I actually had to make like 2 or 3 of these. What I did is I designed them, cut them out of aluminum, practiced my bends, and then when I came up with this final shape, which you'll see here, I then felt confident enough to go ahead and cut it on a 3/4 inch plate. But it's kind of a trick that I use. I'll cut it out of aluminum, bend it, manipulate it, design it the way I want. When I have the final product, I'll move it to the final material itself. All right, so I have this shape, and I'm kind of stoked about it. It's a little funky, but it comes up, comes over, and from the other side, it gives me plenty of room. And I got the arc totally centered to where the tie rod would be in theoretical space. So I'm gonna roll with it. There's gonna have to be 2 cuts in it and 2 bends, but I'll show you how I get that after, then we'll weld it up and put some cover plate on it.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Well, that didn't work. Yeah, I got really confused. I actually bought an 85 consumable, I put that on, and that was not the right idea. So I'm doing a 65, and I'm doing something called the edge start. It's gonna come in and rip a hole through this, start the leading edge. And I also got rid of the hole in the design because I don't think this is gonna be able to pierce it and finish it. So I'm gonna drill this out on the drill later on. So we have the new design, well, the same design, different settings in here. Let's see if we can try to get through this again. All right, wish me luck. Let me just double check one more time. Actually, probably move this back just a little bit. That's cool, man. I actually went on a forum and all the guys helped me out. they were telling me how to do the edge start. As you see here, we came into the edge and like ripped through, started to pierce it, and I got rid of the hole. I was nervous about that. It seems like a lot of this stuff when you're maxing out this consumable, holes are a no-no, so I'm just gonna go ahead and drill those after. But now I gotta make sure I have room for one more. I put that right there. So let's line this up, cut that, and then start getting work.
Now that we have our new 3/4 inch arms, I'm going to take my aluminum piece that I cut before, the template, and put those scribe marks or those bend marks onto the actual material itself. From there, I'm going to cut basically all the way through and manipulate the arm, bolt it to the car, and manipulate it by my hands to get the first angle set. Then from there, I'll mirror image it to the other side.
Okay, here's the plan. Now that we got this cut, I have my splined end. I'm going to go ahead and bevel this. A real aggressive bevel on this. We will, I believe it goes this way. Double check that. We're going to weld this on, put it on, and adjust it in the car. I'll mirror image the other one after it. So let's get this in, tack this, bevel it, and then from there, whatever this gap is, I'm going to slowly start making passes. Weld, 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 weld. Fill this. And I won't go too absurd with it. What we'll do is I'll start blending this all in. I'll have all the welding here. We'll fill this up, we'll blend it all in and make it look like it's one piece. So for now, bevel, bevel, weld, get it on the car, adjust it, and then we'll start finish welding it once we get all our angles, and then we'll start doing the artistic part, making it look nice and smooth.
Once I put the end link on the spline itself, I sat back and looked at it and says, yep, that's it. Let's finish weld this thing up and polish it off and we'll have a nice piece.
signing away. Wish I could scroll with this.
Dude, it's done. You gotta come check it out.
That's it?
Yeah, I literally just signed my name.
Dude, you killed it. I can't even describe it. I don't know if the phone does it justice, but holy mo... You know what my favorite part is? It's like this... I can't... Like I look like a typhoon or in a vortex.
Do you feel out of this world?
Dude, you killed it.
Thank you very much.
You really did.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be just like prettier or something nice, but I didn't think it was going to be this entailed. Look at the sun. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, go check it out. Check out those asteroids, because they're 3D.
Oh, it actually looks 3D when you come from this way.
Yeah, you can take them off the wall and throw them.
Holy. We got our black hole. I want to see from back here. I like the vortex part.
Yeah. That's the thing with the mural this big. You really do have to back up and check it out.
Look at the colors. Dude, you killed it. Any of you guys who want a mural done or painting or get painted like a French girl, what is it?
Yeah, you want to get painted like a French girl, even on a mural? Driftwood art.
Driftwood art. I'll tag him in this video, but man, you absolutely killed it.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure working with you. It really was.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. On that note, I'm actually going to end this episode and turn it into a 2-part series. We're going to do a couple more brackets for the front torsion bar, weld it up, and then from there, we're going to move back and start actually building the rear substructure or the subframe and mount that curry pumpkin in the back. So this is going to be a hefty episode. We're going to kind of slide it right onto a 2-part series. So check in and thank you guys for watching. I mean, this whole channel means a lot, or means the world to me. So I thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys like it. Subscribe, hit the like button, add me some comments. Tell me what you guys want to see on the build next, or what would you like to dive into more. Let's make it interactive. Do you want to see more tech? Do you want to see more artistic, flowy cinematic shots? Just let me know in the comments. Let's dive in and let's get this girl rolling. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Just come in here and just get lost. On that note, take care.